Hi everyone, this is a demo of 16x Eval. Let's say we want to write a blog post on the top vibe coding tips, and we want to find out which model is the best for the task. We can use 16x Eval to evaluate the models as well as prompts to figure this out. The first step would be to import the prompt and context into 16x Eval. So we go to the prompt library, and then we can import our prompt into the prompt library by just drag and drop. You can see that we have imported our pre-written prompt here, and we can do the same for context. So here are some context for this task. Inside 16x Eval, context can mean different things for different tasks. For coding, it can be your source code or documentation. And for writing, it can be a style guide or reference sources. In this case, it will be some tips that I collected from the internet. Let's import them. So you can see that we have all these context imported, ready to use. The next step would be to actually create the evaluations. Do note that this context is optional if you are just evaluating the prompts. So let's go ahead and create a new evaluation. Here we can create a new experiment to group our evaluations together. So let's call this experiment vibe coding. And then we can proceed to select our prompt. You can see the prompt is populated. Obviously, you can also edit it here manually. And then we can add our context, which is our three sources. So now we have the prompt and context. We can play around with the prompt structure, and then we can select the models. So here I'm just gonna select a few models, and then we can run the evaluations. So while this is running in parallel, I can talk about the models that we support. We support OpenAI, Cloud from Anthropic, Gemini from Google, DeepSeek, OpenRouter, as well as any other third-party models that are OpenAI compatible. Okay, it's completed. So now we can proceed to actually rate this output from the models. There are two ways to do this. One is to rate them manually ourselves. So we can just click the rating button here. We look at the response, and then we give it a rating. Let's say this one is not as good. Let's give it maybe a 8, and then this one is like better, and then this one is not too bad. Okay, so that's the first way of rating, and the second way is to actually create a eval function. I already created one before. Let's delete that, and let's start over again. Let's call this evaluation a vibe eval. So this evaluation is going to check the output against certain strings and see if they are present. Let's say that we want our output to contain certain strings that we think are very important. We can specify them here. So in this case, I already know we're looking for certain keywords like a template, focus, specific, review, context, and iterate. So we can add these keywords in. And then when we go back and select the eval function, we can see how many keywords are present in each response. So in this case, Cloud has 4 keyword matching, so it got the rating of 4. We can also create variations of the evaluation to test different prompts and models. So let's say we're not very happy with this prompt. We can create an evaluation, and then we can change things like maybe change top 3 to top 4, and then give more detailed instructions, so on and so forth. Lastly, I want to show the experiment page. So in the experiment page, we can see the performance of various prompts and models across different experiments. For example, we can have one experiment for coding and one experiment for writing, and then we compare the models against each other on two different tasks. Or we can have two different experiments on writing different type of content. That's it for the demo. Download 16x Eval and try it out. Have fun evaluating.